Hey, Mystic Michaela spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela today. How to be besties with your angels. Is there a way to differentiate their messages from your imagination, their messages from anxiety? I'm going to talk about all of this, but first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
All right, so very exciting. I launched the Angel Numbers deck, which is an oracle card deck for all of you. Based on the standalone book, the Angel Numbers book, this deck was created.
Yes.
And it's here now. And the craziest thing happened.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. Now, I am a skeptic.
Yes.
As people listen to the show know.
Sure.
I've become less skeptical over the years.
Right.
One thing that I truly have continued my skepticism of is like card pulls.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Right.
You know, like all these decks, what are they? They got all these weird pictures on them.
Yeah.
You know, not your deck. Your deck is beautiful, but
you're like, what is this?
Yeah, like, you know, like I sit down at a table, someone pulls a card for me, and I'm supposed to believe whatever that card says is my future, my past, I don't know. So I am a little bit of a skeptic. I didn't know the difference between an oracle deck and a tarot deck. You had to explain that to me when they came out. But so I said, you know what? Let me try this deck.
Okay.
So, and you're just going to have to believe me here.
We got it in the mail. You know, they send you like an author's copy.
Right. Got it in the mail. It's all wrapped up. I said, you know, let me pull the first card for you.
Right.
You know, we asked it a question, right? You're supposed to ask kind of a question, or I forgot what we said.
I let you do it. I'm like, Scott, you do the first pull. This is your pull for us as a couple, as I said.
Right. And it was just like for the success of everything and all that.
Right.
I just
like
put it all
an
in overall thing.
Right.
And there's 100 cards in the deck. You shuffled them all up.
Yes.
Okay. And I got to pick the card. And some of you right now know Mystic Michaela's angel number. Some of you might not. But I pulled 716. That
crazy.
is your angel number. That is the number you always talk about.
You just have to believe us. I was going to randomly film it.
Right. Yeah. No,
and I didn't. I know.
And look, if you're a red aura right now and you're saying this guy's full of it, I agree with you. You know, you could say that. But it's not true. I pulled 716. And I freaked out.
Scott's freaked out.
Screamed like a little girl.
You're like, ah!
And I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind. And again, like I said, if you want to believe that I didn't pull that card first, that I totally understand.
You wouldn't believe it.
I don't believe it.
If you didn't do it.
I
know. I couldn't believe it.
I could not believe it. But I did pull 716, which is soul companions. Important connections are building. But that is your number. That's your number. Also the area code of Buffalo, New York, where you're from. It just blew my mind.
It was nuts. And that was the first. We didn't pull one card before that.
First card.
And that's the card you pull.
Yes.
Of the deck of any polls that we've done. It was just it was absolutely insane.
And then the thing is, like, so I went nuts, I went crazy, and then after that, my logic sets in. I'm like, all right, what are the odds? Okay, obviously,
I guess it's 1 in 100.
1 out of 100, 1%. And then I'm like, is this coincidence? Could this happen? How does this happen? So like but it did, and that's crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But you yourself, speaking of besties with your spirit guides,
right?
Those of you who've listened to the show understand Scott's dilemma, and those of you who are new, you must hear about it now.
Yes. Okay. So I have a spirit guide. Her name is Phoebe.
This is not. Oh, here's our skeptic.
Yeah. No, I believe.
But this he knows.
Yeah, I know. I have a spirit guide named Phoebe, and we don't get along. I've told the story many times why we don't get along.
Yeah.
It all started when she told me not to buy Amazon.
Right.
Okay, and I would have made, who knows how much money.
We'd be hanging out with Jeff Bezos now.
Right. Yeah. Me and Bezos would be hanging out. And she told me no. And that's what started the feud. And ever since that day,
the feud,
we just don't get along. We've been to counseling. We've tried. It gets us nowhere. Therapy has gotten us nowhere. I feel she has a drinking problem that she doesn't admit to. I feel that she's drunk. I truly feel that she likes Jaeger and
so do you.
And so sure, but she needs to be on the job, and I feel like I also feel this is really true. I feel like she just mocks me. I feel like she thinks I'm a joke.
Yeah.
And she doesn't take me serious.
Yeah.
And whenever I try to connect, she just like is up there giggling and laughing at me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. I mean, I can kind of picture her, what she looks like. I think you've told me a little bit what she looks like, but I think she just like shakes her head at me and just laughs like, oh, silly Scotty.
Well, I get it. With I got to side with Phoebe just for a second because you're a very argumentative person.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about how spirit guides or angels, whatever you want to call them, talk to you. But the first way they talk to you is they give you just a truth. And the truth they give you is kind of straight up and it's the first thought and it's neutral. It's neutral feeling. It's not negative or positive. Even if it is considered a negative or positive feeling, it's not. It feels neutral. And you're just argumentative. So when something happens and you get her message, like, this is going to work out or do this or don't do that or nope or whatever.
Right.
You immediately are Mr. Contrarian. Like anything she gives you, you're like, well, let's go opposite. And I can see her just being like, okay.
Well, yeah, that's true. But she should know me and then give me the other side of it. So then I'll go opposite to the other way. Does that make sense?
Maybe she has been.
That's true too. Yeah, but all right. I understand what you're saying about her, but you would think she would know how I am, that I always like question and I ask.
Yeah.
And I try to think for myself and of that nature. So
I know.
You would think she'd be more understanding and not just sitting up there laughing at me, while she's throwing down, shots of tequila.
You two have a lot to work through.
We have a lot to work through. We've tried. All right. So I'm going to pull a card from this deck.
Okay.
And see what I get and see maybe Phoebe does have a message. And I'm going to take the message to heart and I'm not going to question it.
Okay.
All right. Here is the card pull. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. The card I pulled was 924. Farewell.
Oh,
okay,
no.
So she told me to leave. That's her mocking me.
She's
again.
Leaving you.
No, I'm not. You know what, Phoebe? I am not even going with this card. I'm going again.
I'm going again. You got that.
I know. Farewell, right? That's what she gives me.
All right.
I'm pulling another card.
Choose again.
All right. I just pulled 125. Be serious. Okay. See what I'm saying? I can't deal with this person or spirit. I can't deal with it. All right. Anyway. All right. Let's take a quick break.
All right.
When we come back, you're going to talk about how to be besties with your spirit guides.
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
New sponsor alert. Filter Easy.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm going to tell you something about filters.
Yes.
Okay. We live in Florida. It is summer. 8 months a year here. We have the air conditioning going. We always need these filters.
Always.
I got to swap them out.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the neck. I don't like doing it. I always wait too long. I go to Publix. They're flimsy. They're made of this like cardboard that I don't like.
Yes.
They got to shove them in there. Sometimes they start ripping. Sometimes the cardboard stuff gets into the pipes. It clogs them up.
Yeah.
And I got to go out. It's a whole big thing. But I just got the Filter Easy a few days ago and it just slid in perfectly.
Yes.
There's no cardboard.
No.
It looks perfect. It's going to be great. So I'm happy about this. Maybe
you got real excited about this.
I did get really.
This podcast is sponsored by Filter Easy. It's 2025. When's the last time you changed your filters? I mean, honestly, it's not a thing that a lot of people remember to do.
I forget.
I do too. So basically, the Filter Easy subscription service delivers the right filters to your door right when you need them. Finally, a subscription service I actually want to subscribe to. Filter Easy filters are proudly made with love in North Carolina with millions of filters shipped. Filter Easy is the #1 home air filter subscription service in the U.S. Filter Easy takes care of your air filters so you have time to take care of everything else. Head to filtereasy.com/KYA and use code KYA for 50% off your first order plus free shipping forever. Once again, that's filtereasy.com/KYA for 50% off your first order plus free shipping forever. And make sure you use my promo code KYA so they know I sent you. How to be besties with your spirit guides, with your angels. So, a little story before we begin. I was outlining this episode. I was on my laptop in the living room, and in the room adjacent, my kids were doing their homework. And I start creating my outline in a rare organized moment. And I am thinking in my head, wow, my angels are so fun with me. They send me 716, which is our special number. And they always send it in funny ways. Right at that moment in the adjacent room where my daughter is doing her math homework, she calls my older daughter over to help her with a mixed fraction. She doesn't know how to make 7/1/6 like multiply it or something. Obviously, I don't know because they don't ask me for help with math, but she was asking her sister how to do something with the fraction 7/1/6. And I run in there and I look and I see them multiplying 7/1/6, just in that moment, this is not uncommon for me. And the more I pay attention to it, the more it happens. That's the thing. So here's the thing. Your angels or spirit guides, whatever you want to call them, even if those don't feel like they resonate with you, you can call it your higher self. All this energy wants to do is lead you down a destined path. The path itself, I feel like, does have variations. I feel like there's more than one way to get to where you're supposed to go. But I do feel like when we come here, we have a journey. We have an overall life plan with plots and the major things that you're supposed to get to. Your angels assist you in doing so. And they do this a lot easier if you're paying attention. It makes a lot more sense. But the question is what's the difference between intuition or that feeling that something's true? You may even call intuition the place where yourself and your angels meet inside of you, and anxiety. Like, what's the difference between intuition and anxiety? A message and anxiety, something real and something made up. And to understand the difference between those two things, let's talk about what they both feel like. So anxiety is a voice of the ego. Anxiety is a voice of your human self. And it's fear. Fear is a very useful little thing. It's a useful tool that was given to us through our biology in order to make sure that we don't do things that are going to get us hurt. Unfortunately, the ego, which is where anxiety comes from, likes us to do things the same all the time. And when we change things up, it can make us feel anxious. What your ego doesn't know is that your soul growth isn't going to kill you, okay? Any change at all makes your ego just erupt in anxiety in an attempt to get you not to do the thing that's going to change up your life a bit. But the ego voice, okay, which is a lot of anxiety, it's fear, it's not the first voice. Your angel messages or intuition, your gut feeling, that's the first voice. Ego is the loudest voice, though. And the ego also comes with physical feelings like anxiety, sweating, panic, tummy troubles. The ego voice feels rapid. It sends you into a spiral. You can connect it to a trauma or a past event or something you're already afraid of or a pattern of behavior. Like I always did, if I don't worry about it, then it will happen. If I worry about it, then it won't happen. That's all ego, fear-based anxiety stuff. That's not real. So, for example, when you are trying to distinguish between an intuitive feeling and anxiety is going to be very, very, very hard to shut down in order to know if something's true or not. But what does intuition feel like? Intuition is actually the first voice. You can also call it a gut feeling. You can call it an angel message. Intuition feels already true. It feels calm and it feels quiet. It often feels in line with who you are. And here's the thing, even if whatever you're feeling is seemingly a negative feeling or a positive feeling, intuition has a neutral overall feeling. So if something comes to you and it could be on paper considered a negative thing, it's still going to feel neutral when it's intuition. It feels like something that already happened. It just feels like truth. It feels like very quiet yet solid in your mind, like truth that isn't true yet. And intuition really grounds you. And intuition makes you feel calm. It doesn't make you feel anxious. So here's an example. My daughter wanted, she's in 4th grade and we live right by the school and she wants to walk home. by herself now. So my anxiety hates this. I connect it to everything I've ever read online, all the bad news articles, all the crime documentaries, and my own traumas. And that's anxiety. That's not intuition. My intuition is a truth that's saying, she's fine. She's fine. Okay. So there's a difference between the two of them. But here's the thing. You can practice knowing your anxiety voice versus your intuition voice in the tiny, seemingly inconsequential daily activities that your angels do get involved in. And this is where people are like, why would your angels care about like that? And who cares about that? They do. I don't know why. I think it's for our own help and benefit, honestly. So intuition is honestly easiest to practice with tiny, tiny little things in your daily life that feel very unimportant. You practice here first, you get to know that feeling, and then you apply it to the bigger things in life. I'm still working on it, okay? It's something that I have figured out, and I work with it daily, and I'm constantly trying to level up. It's harder to do it for yourself sometimes than it is for other people. You might have a great intuitive voice for your friends or your family or your neighbors or strangers, but a hard time with yourself. Or opposite, you might have a great intuitive feeling, but it only is about you and your family or people close to you. Whichever way, it's something that you already do have. You have it somewhere. We're just paying more attention to it. So here's like how it works in the seemingly unimportant things in life. Like your angels will give you heads up on things, and you could say, what, why, who cares? I'm telling you, this is how they do it. So for example, if you ever you're talking to a friend, okay, we'll meet for lunch on Friday. Okay. And then there's an intuitive feeling like she's going to cancel. And like I said, that could be a negative feeling. That could be a positive thing. Who knows? But it feels neutral and you just know it. And then sure enough, she cancels. Okay. Like that feeling. Or you need to stop at the grocery store. You're driving home from work and you're like, I just know I'm going to need this thing tonight. I for some reason, I know I'm going to need paper plates. I don't know why. I just know I'm going to need them. And you pull in and you grab them and you come home and somebody needs it for, class tomorrow or something tomorrow. It like that. Like you just get it's like a little quick message in your head too. Like maybe you're driving past the grocery store, like go get paper plates. Like what? Who said that? What? And this is already happening to you. If you're like, that doesn't happen to me, pay attention, because I guarantee you're just brushing it off. Or your mind is so busy that you're not listening to the quieter thoughts. Because remember, your intuitive thought, your angel thought, that intuition thought, spirit, it's a very firm, yet it's not the loudest voice. It's the first one. They'll say it, then they'll be done. Or how about this? Okay, get gas here. You're driving. A lot of this happens when you're driving, I think. Like, get gas here. Oh, I always go to my regular place, but I just have this feeling to get gas here. So you pull in, you get gas there. And then you realize, oh, that one closed. Or that one, all the pumps are down. Little things like that. They will come in and help you practice with your intuition that way in the daily. For, this past Christmas, my daughter wanted this hoodie from who knows, some sort of TikTok shop. I don't know. Okay. It was, and they were always out of stock. And every time I went on, there it is, out of stock. And I'm purple. Okay. And if you don't know what that means, that just means like, I can't be online all the time checking. Like I have no system for this. So I'm just walking, doing my thing. And a thought out of nowhere, a quiet, intuitive thought says, check online. And I did. And there it was in stock for like 2 seconds, got it and moved on with life. And then it went out, it was out of stock again. Why do my spirit guides care that she got this hoodie? I don't know. But like in that moment, like that's an intuitive voice. So paying attention to that actually helps you later with the bigger stuff. But I do want to mention that if you are a naturally empath or a leading person, as many of you are, if you don't listen to intuition, it can turn into anxiety. And that's where it gets a little tricky. And we're going to come back and talk about that. Missing out on a show that everyone is talking about is not an option for me. So I'm constantly signing up for the streaming service or another streaming service. And then a few months later, I realize I've still been paying for the service long after I finished that show. Well, getting Rocket Money was a game changer for me. They'll find your unwanted subscriptions and even help you cancel them, so you never have to worry about them slipping through the cracks. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. See all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them so easy. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/KYA today. That's rocketmoney.com/KYA, rocketmoney.com/KYA. Many of you have intuitive voices, and then when you don't listen to them, they can latch on to your ego, and it can become this kind of intense anxiety. So I can't dismiss that. But what you'll learn as you pay more attention to this, that it did come from somewhere first, and you're going to end up following it back to the original intuitive message before it turned into anxiety. And I will give you an example. I randomly had this thought, and this was about 2 weeks ago. And I said to my husband, I said to Scott, we need LifeLock. This is totally out of nowhere. Okay. Just a random Tuesday. And we need LifeLock. And that's the other thing. Intuitive messages will come out of nowhere, seemingly. You weren't thinking about anything before. It's not linked to something I saw in the news. It's not linked to an article I read. It's not linked to anything. It came out of myself. So I'm like, we need LifeLock. And he's like, why? What is this, Megan? And I just feel like we have to be more careful with our identity. Identity theft's a real problem. And then he just shrugged it off. And then I got really weird. And I know myself well enough now to know what my anxiety that's linked to my intuition looks like. Because then I started looking into it. Then I started reading up on it. Then I started comparing prices to different identity protection agencies. And then I started, and my husband Scott's like, what? We don't even do anything. We're not even that cool. We don't have to protect that much. And I'm like, I don't know, no lie, about 1.5 days later, 2 days later, my husband gets an email that somebody took out a credit card in his name. Okay. And I'm like, oh, and I already had all the information. Oh, here's how you put a freeze on your credit. You have to go to the credit report sites and do. And this happens to me a lot. If I don't listen to it, it will erupt into anxiety. And here's the deal. It was already going to happen. Okay. So that's the other thing. I don't even know. Sometimes you'll get messages from your spirit guides, from your angels, that you're like, was I supposed to prevent something? Not necessarily. Sometimes they're just telling you what's up so that when it happens, you're more prepared. And I was more prepared. And I was like, oh, here's this, and we got it taken care of. So I do want to say that sometimes these intuitive thoughts that you don't listen to habitually, in order for them to get across to you, can feel more anxious and can get you going down these spirals and obsessive thought spirals and whatnot. That used to happen to me a lot before I used to do readings, when I used to feel things on people, and I didn't, wasn't appropriate to tell them because I was, teaching or in a professional situation or just strangers, or I'm shy, or I just shut myself up or something. So that can come out too. But it's different because you can walk it back to a source. But another thing is that your angels will repeat themselves. They will repeat themselves. You have to find the patterns. If you get a message from someone or something or a feeling, you're going to get it a couple more times from different sources. They don't usually just say something once when it's a bigger deal or an intuitive deal. For example, my good friend, she has been having like an ear issue for a while. And I didn't know about it. Nobody really knew about it. But she told me because she finally got it figured out and she had to go get a diagnosis and she's dealing with it now. But for the whole year, she told me that her guides would wake her up, meaning right before she was about to fall asleep, they jolt her awake with like, go get your ear checked. And she was hearing other people talk about ears more. She's like, I feel like more people are talking about this. I feel like more people are bringing this to my attention, you know. And then one night I had a conversation with her randomly. I didn't know she had an ear issue, just about ears and how women in perimenopause can have ear issues and whatnot. And, you know, that's kind of, well, I was actually just thinking about that, you know. So you're going to get it from more than one spot. And then she finally went to the doctor and she did indeed have something that needs to be taken care of, which she's doing now. I had another friend who was married to not the best person. Luckily, they're not married anymore. And she just kept seeing their anniversary date everywhere. She would see it constantly. And she'd see it in, you know, on receipts. She'd see it on billboards. She'd see people writing it down. You know, she'd hear it randomly. You know, she was a teacher. One of her kids' birthdays was that day. You know, constantly, her anniversary date. And you could take that either way, but it was really, you need to leave this. That date cannot be interesting to you anymore. You know, that date cannot be relevant to you. Like, we need to end the significance of that date. And since she's got divorced, and he really wasn't great, so we all knew what the angels were saying. But when she got divorced, she doesn't see it anymore. She saw it one more time, and they're getting divorced, and that was it. Kind of like, done. You know, wasn't following her anymore. They will follow you with patterns and people and messages and numbers and all sorts of things. And if you're listening and if you're looking, you'll see it. And another thing is so how to be besties with your guides. You know, we've gone through, they'll tell you things that aren't a big deal. You know, there isn't a difference between intuition and anxiety. You can practice it with the daily things that they're telling you that don't seem like a big deal so that you can apply it to bigger things. And also, don't be afraid about being wrong or getting so nervous about it. I think, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you my own example, because sometimes you can't prove it, you know. So flying, right? I don't know, maybe some of you out there never get nervous, right? So I'm usually somebody who never gets too nervous about flying. I don't like it, but a big thing I'll get from people is the plane going to go down? You know, like it's kind of like a thought, that an intrusive thought when some people fly. So there's a difference between that, just because it's weird to fly, if you think about it, versus something's actually going to happen. So, and I'm not one that usually is nervous about it, but we were going on a trip. It was a long time ago. And I was going with my husband and kids. And I just had a really bad feeling about the departing flight. I had a very bad feeling about it. I don't get feelings like that normally. I couldn't shake it. I was seeing patterns and stuff everywhere. It didn't feel like the flight itself. It felt like what happened when we got there, like where we were or what time of day it was or something like that. And I couldn't understand why. But every time that I thought about going, I would feel sick. And I felt it was a very loud voice in my head. And it was a very, very solid intuitive feeling. And it wasn't anxiety. It was more just kind of like, you can't do this. It's the same feeling that I've gotten when, this is a weird thing to say, but when I knew I had to change my major in college, I'm like, I can't do, like, it's like from sociology to Spanish. It was like, nope, like that, I have to change it. Or it's a weird thing. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, because it just felt like something I had to do, and it felt like something very true. And I sounded nuts, and I know I did. And no one in my family appreciated me in that moment. But I was like, you have to change the flight. And why? I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Why? I don't know. It's just that flight. And we changed the flight and I felt better. Another reason or way that you can differentiate between intuition and just plain old anxiety is when you make the choice, you feel better one way or the other. If all of a sudden the thing that was making you stressed, you change it and you feel peaceful again, you did the right thing. And that's what we did. And everything was fine and nothing went wrong. I can't prove that I was right. I can't prove it, So you can't let that hold you back. I think that that's part of it too. And feeling a little nuts and feeling a little silly and just kind of going with it. And also having the self-check, like, I'm not a fear-based person. This isn't how I normally am. If that's true, just being self-aware can help you as well. Okay, final thing to be besties with your angels is they appreciate an actual conversation. You can't just ask them for things all the time. And I learned this too. They do appreciate you kind of throw something their way as well, which is why I do just funny things. I don't know. I'll, if I play numbers, I'll play my angel wink number. I'll play 716. If I'm somewhere, like the other day, there was, that magnetic word poetry somewhere. I was waiting in a waiting room and they had it for kids, magnetic word poetry. And I just put all these angel numbers. I was just playing with it and doing my own. I was putting 716 and then I was doing 111, 222. I was just having fun with them. I had to donate the other day. I don't, when you go to, checkout, it feels like everywhere nowadays, they're like, would you like to donate? I was like, okay. And I did $7.16. I just play around with it a little bit here and there where I can, where I just feel like it's cheeky or funny. And it helps talk to them too. They like to be noticed too. Maybe they're little diva beings hanging out around us and they need to be noticed a little bit too. And you can kind of throw them a little attention by playing around with your angel numbers here and there or whatever you think is fun and see what happens. I get the tattoo if that's your thing of wings or a number that speaks to you, or make the donation in a certain amount, or next time you do your Peloton handle, use an angel number as part of your screen name, whatever. Kind of have fun with it and see how they have fun back with you. I love hearing these kinds of stories. And when you share them, you inspire other people as well. And your angels sure do like when you share how they've touched your lives for other people too. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
All right, Scotty, let's talk about our Helix mattress. We've had it a few months now. What have you noticed?
Okay. I've noticed a lot of things. The cats love it as well.
Oh, they do.
As us, yeah.
Yeah, Dusty almost kicked me out of my spot. He loves it so much.
Yeah, he's got a spot on the mattress now. It's much more comfortable than our old mattress, which we had for, I don't even know how long, 15 years.
There was a spring in my back. It's just so nice to sleep without a spring in my back.
I had a spring too. But
you know what I like? Because as a couple, I get up sometimes in the middle of the night or you'll toss and turn. I don't even know you're there. And I don't wake you up when I'm getting up or doing my thing or when the cats jump on the bed. There's not a lot of motion transfer.
That's true. There's not a lot of motion to it. I know before I wasn't able to turn a lot before you'd get annoyed with me. So I think now I can turn more.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But now you can.
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, and I feel like when I get up, I'm not bothering you. It's just been an overall upgrade, and having it for a few months now and seeing the quality of sleep and how it just improves life. It's all about your mattress. It's way more important than I thought it was before I got a new one. And you can get a new mattress too. Go to helixsleep.com/KYA for 20% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with your mattress purchase. That's helixsleep.com/KYA for 20% off site-wide and 2 free dream pillows with your mattress purchase. helixsleep.com/KYA. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
All right. So I wanted to tell one more angel message story with Scotty here because it concerned him.
Okay. I don't know what's coming right now.
Here we go. So recently, like I said, so I just explained that a lot of times your angels will interfere in your daily life for things that don't seem like such a big deal, but it's the same exact feeling as the bigger things. So it's good to practice in the little things. Anyways, this happened this week because Scott, just to back it up, is the type of person that needs his consistency in terms of his basics.
Right.
And his basic needs would be his glasses and his sunglasses.
Okay.
And the guy has had the same style of glasses and sunglasses for 10 years.
Well, my sunglasses have been 10 years.
Right.
And then I did change the style of my glasses a few years ago.
Right.
To the plastic.
The plastic.
Right. It took a while for me to make the change.
To get rid of the nose bridges.
Right. But
this was a thing.
I finally succumbed to that.
Right.
That a couple of years ago. But the sunglasses I have not.
The sunglasses. So
right, I didn't.
I just had this feeling, and I said, I want to say 2 weeks ago, Scott, you have to get new sunglasses. And let me tell you, that's like telling somebody like a yo mama joke or something. Like you were so offended that I said something about your sunglasses.
Right.
And I'm like, Scott, they're old Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
You convinced them, even though you have a really strong prescription, to put them in a curved lens so they're super freaking thick.
Right.
For 10 years. Like we are talking.
They did work real
Anybody
well.
that understands glasses understands that you can't have thick prescription in a curvature. And you talked somebody into doing it 10 years ago and nobody will do it.
Right. Actually, I convinced them twice because they gave me 2 pairs.
Right.
And I lost one.
Yes.
So that's a bummer.
So that for 10 years, but I'm like, you got to get new sunglasses, and I just knew, and you're like, how dare you mention this to me? How dare you, Megan? And you know I love my Ray-Bans. They're polarized.
I don't know.
Megan! And I'm like, Scott, just consider it. Let's just go look around. It's like, yo, Megan.
Sure.
They're fine.
Fine. That's mostly true.
So fast forward to a day or two later, and you put them on, and a lens just falls out. And then, Scott, when he's upset, he mumbles to himself. He's like, oh, my glasses. And you're in the, on the couch, taking out your tiny little screw and it just wasn't working because they're old.
Well, I had them fixed. I took out my pocket knife and I was able to screw it back in. And then I was just asking you guys, are they straight? Are they crooked?
They weren't straight.
I know. You guys were telling me they were straight. And I was saying, no, they look crooked. And then I don't know how it happened. I think it was Phoebe, actually. Phoebe then popped the lens out and it hit the floor, the tile, and it broke.
It just shattered.
Yeah.
And it was oh.
That sent me into a tizzy.
And I don't know if any of you can relate to the moment where, you were right.
Yeah.
In that moment, even though you got so much crap.
How am I supposed to know you psychically knew they were going to break 2 days later?
I just knew it. And the thing is because my guides know what I live with, they wanted you to get glasses before they broke, so I didn't have to deal with no glasses, Scotty.
Well, obviously your guides talked to Phoebe and then told her to make them break.
But now they work together, obviously. But now I'm dealing with no glasses, Scotty, and while we wait for your glasses to be made, and you couldn't get the curvature, so.
Well, now they're going to be I got Ray-Bans again.
You did, but they just don't have the curvature.
Right, they're going to be better than the last pair.
Yeah.
But it's actually funny because I actually picked out at the store the same pair that I had for the 10 years.
Yes.
And they were almost exactly the same.
The exact same.
But then they told me I couldn't do it in that one again because of the curvature. And this time they're not going to do it.
Right.
So then I settled on these other pair.
Right.
Which I'm getting in a couple days. I hope it works out.
It's a big deal for Scott. Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
Hey, I have a question now.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Yeah.
If you do, this is real. I'm actually asking this for real.
Okay.
It's there's 4 of us living in this house and the cats.
Yes.
Okay. And we each have our own set of spirit guides. Do they mingle? Like, do they talk to each other?
They do.
Okay, so then it was them talking to Phoebe.
No, they do. They do mingle. And I don't mean for this, like, every wife who's listening is like, I'm going to use this. And you can. And I fully implore you all to use this, to say that your guides are talking to you and your partner's guides are talking to you too. Because I feel like that does happen. Like, I feel like they do mingle. Like, I get the kids. I feel like the kids' guides kind of. Actually, that's a really interesting question.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll get stuff on the kids too. Like randomly, and there's mother's intuition, like you feel because you know your kid, but then there's things I'll get that are separate, like where it'll just be kind of out of nowhere. Like I'll just know something that happened at school that day, or I'll just be like, what's going on with this? Or why, you just get it. And I feel like those more leap of a message things are from the spirit guides of your kids, like telling you things. Anyways, yeah, they do mingle.
Okay. Question's been answered. I believe it.
I believe it. That's what I'd like to, I'm going to pay more attention to that.
All right. Well, I think, I'm having fun pulling these cards.
You love pulling the cards.
I do love pulling the cards now.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to pull some cards for some people that I don't know.
All right.
And one person that I do know. But I'm going to pull some cards and see what happens.
All right.
All right. If you want to call, do we want to call overtime for this?
Let's do that. And then at the end, I'll pull a card for you listening today.
Okay, so basically we're going to have overtime, and then when you pull that card, the overtime will end.
Yes.
It'll be back to the regular broadcast.
Okay.
And the rules, again, of overtime are anything is said, it is on you.
It's on you now.
This one's not going to be too bad today, so you could probably stay. All right. All right, so the first card I'm going to pull.
Okay.
I'm going to pull this card for the entire cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, yes.
They've had a lot of issues, right?
Yes.
They're constantly yelling at each other. The one lady played a really nasty game to end the season.
Yeah, it was great.
Where they all had to read the worst text possible that they wrote to each other. Who suggests that?
The producers.
Okay. So this card's mostly for that lady. I don't know her name, but the whole cast. The whole cast.
The whole cast. Okay.
This is for Heather and the entire cast of the Real Housewives.
Okay.
That's all I say. Here we go.
Just randomly
choose
this card.
Yes, give me that deck.
This is totally random.
Okay, here we go. Oh, 514. No toxicity.
Oh, that's so appropriate for them.
Your angels want you to remove toxic patterns from your relationships.
Well, they won't have a job anymore.
This deck is good.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. What are the odds? I'm me pulling this for that cast and Heather. Okay.
Okay. Well, right. Whitney is on her healing journey.
Right.
You would only know that joke if you watched the show.
I did not know that joke. I just pretended to go along with it. But okay. You know what? Let's try the Beverly Hills cast.
Oh, yeah.
This is for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes. Dorit and Kyle
the other one,
are getting along.
Yep. The one that took all the money from the fire victims.
Oh, that's Erica.
This is
allegedly.
I
think she was proven she didn't.
I think she still did, but allegedly. Okay. And this is also for Andy Cohen too. We're going to throw him in there. This is for all of them. In fact, this is for all Real Housewives. Okay. Here we go.
Everyone.
Except for
super specific.
Just read it. All right, here we go. 564. Release drama.
Oh.
Yes. Serve your highest good. You are being asked to let go of something in your life that no longer serves you. Serve your highest good.
Oh,
okay, so this is for all of them.
Okay.
All right.
That's a good one.
This deck is really...
It's really speaking to the housewives.
Really speaking, yeah.
Okay.
Let's pull another card. All right, so the next card I'm going to pull is for Jason Kelce.
Oh.
He is the guy that was the football player.
Right.
Brother to Kelce.
Travis Kelce.
Right. Mm-hmm. The other Kelce, right. Who is dating Taylor Swift. And according to your predictions, they are going to be engaged very soon.
Right.
And this card is for him.
Okay.
So let's see what he gets. All right. Jason Kelce, you get card 857. Creative flow. Your angels are telling you that your creative flow of ideas is coming fast now. Okay, so this is good for him because he's been taking my ideas with Jumanji.
With the Jumanji.
So I'm actually...
You'll never get over it.
Never going to get over that.
Right.
I actually pulled ruminate when that, because I'm stewing over that. But for him, he gets 857.
Okay.
And this is great. Creative flow, meaning get your own ideas.
Creative flow going.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You don't need to take my Jumanji.
Correct. Okay.
Jumanji. All right. Wow, this deck is so accurate.
It's really speaking to pop culture.
The next card I'm going to pull is for two people.
Okay.
This is for I think they call them Spidey. What do they call them? Heidi and Spencer. What's their nickname?
Spidey. Yeah.
Spidey. Yeah. This is for
Spidey.
Yeah.
Right. And they lost their home in the LA fires, which is really tragic.
That's
terrible.
Tragic.
And
horrific.
They're all over like TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Asking for
help.
Yeah.
And he's like he's yellow, right? He's
yellow
purple. Yellow purple.
Yes.
He's got his shtick down.
Yeah. And she's pink.
Okay. So this one is their card. I'm going to pull it for them.
Okay, good.
525 money.
Oh, money.
Okay.
That's what they've been. Yeah.
That's very fitting.
This is so random.
This is unbelievable.
Good job. That's
unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. And
that's crazy. We all believe it.
Yeah. I can't believe how accurate it is. The last card I'm going to pull. Okay. This is for a friend. He's a friend of mine.
Oh.
His name, he lives in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, geez.
His name is Jebediah.
Oh,
he's Amish. Okay.
Okay.
He's supposedly, allegedly is my twin flame.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I am
so
the runner.
Awkward.
He's the chaser.
Awkward.
I've been trying to get away from this guy. I can't.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to pull a card for him. So maybe this will tell him to, boundaries. There's a boundary card. I'm hoping that he gets that one. Okay. Here we go. 855. Love abundantly.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not, he just is going to keep going.
Yes.
Your love prevails.
The love, yeah. In fact, he just texted me, even though he doesn't have the technology. But anyway, all right. So let's pull a real card for our crew. This is
those weren't real?
No, they were. No, they were real.
All right. Overtime's over.
We're back to regular time.
Back to regular time.
Okay.
Right.
And I think maybe we incorporate pulling a card, maybe a lot of episodes. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Certain episodes we just pull a card.
Yeah, so I took my deck. I have it out. This is my deck. That's mine. I rub my fingers on each card. And just little things. You got to make your deck your own. I've tried to make this deck my own. But I wanted to pull this for you, the listener. So you listening right now, yes, there's a lot of yous listening, but I'm talking to you. That's who I'm talking
And
to.
Do they have to do anything to prepare?
Nope, this is just for you.
Take a deep breath and...
No. They're just good.
Just good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stressful. You're stressing me
I'm
out.
nervous because I don't know what I'm going to get.
Like you're scared because it's for you too.
Yeah.
All right. So this is for you listening. Here we go. Start small. 830. How you begin matters. Your angelic guides affirm that the dream you are working toward live in your microcosm, seeds embedded in your daily activities. Today, do every little thing as you would if it were larger. Put some added detail into your daily work, cook an extra fabulous dinner, or expend a little additional effort during your workout. Reflect on how every choice you make in your daily life can move you toward your long-term goals. So start small. Do something small today towards that big goal you have going on.
I like that. I like when you pull them. You pull good cards. I don't pull good cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like your pulls.
I like your pulls, Scott.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This podcast is for you and about you, and we're so glad you spent some time with us today.
Hello, podcast fans. If you're looking for a new podcast, if you enjoy articles, books, pop culture, and hilarity, try listening to the Brain Candy Podcast.
That's right. The Brain Candy Podcast has over 500 episodes of educational hilarity to satiate your learning needs. Just search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app or click the link in the show notes.